Shout out to the lady who's letting us know that this recording is in progress. Hi,
No,
divine
literally.
beings. Welcome to the Cosmic Call Out, the podcast where us two curious minds explore the magic of spirituality, collective consciousness, manifestation, all the things. My name is Chloe, and this is my bestie, Victoria. And I want you guys to listen, tap in, tune in, turn on, join us as we share insights, stories, all things that help us grow, that hopefully help you guys as well. And this is a little get to know us style episode. We're going to do an interview style. We're going to ask each other questions so that way you guys can get to know us better and get an overall sense of the vibes here on the Cosmic Call Out and see if you want to kind of join our little cosmic collective. So we're going to dive right in. I'm going to have Victoria go ahead and throw some questions at me and we'll just dive right in. Like, let's just get into it. Let's give the tea. Let's spill the tea. Let's show the people who we are and why we need to be friends with each other out there.
So for starters, hi everyone, I'm Victoria.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a few questions here for Chloe, and then we have a few questions for me, and then a few questions just together. So for question number one, it's gonna be, what is your guilty pleasure TV show?
Really simple, off to the basics. I think, like most of the people in the world, I'm kind of an addict to Love Island. So I think
Okay,
it's safe to say that like that is one of the drama shows that like I'm sucked in. Like it's
but
hard for
like
me to leave it.
Love Island US or UK?
Oh, don't do that to me. To be honest, low key, Australia.
Oh, I have not seen the Australian one.
The more recent seasons of the US, I feel like have been good. Um, some of the episode, like some of the seasons of the UK have been interesting. You gotta love the accents. Like I'd be walking around my place like daddy, just like really tapping into the energy, knowing that I'm terrible at it and I'm offending probably the whole United Kingdom, but I think they would forgive me if they met me. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's
right.
for I'm doing it out of love for the accent and the
Yeah,
people.
an
You know what I mean?
appreciation. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like sometimes I notice my thoughts will have an accent if I'm watching that show for too long. It's very, very interesting. But yeah, that's probably my guilty pleasure because I like to consider myself a pretty enlightened being, and that is very low vibrational at times, that show. But it helps give me the contrast of what I want in my
Right,
relationships and what I don't want in my
right.
relationships. So
No,
all
right.
very helpful. It's educational.
Yeah, it is. At the end of the day,
Yeah,
it's educational TV. We got this.
yeah, yeah. So
All
it all
right.
counts.
So then the next question is going to be, what's the weirdest sign from the universe you've ever gotten?
Okay. So it's actually everything happens at three. The trilogy. Okay, it's a multiple part thing. So when I lived in Boston a few years ago, right now I live in New York. And when I moved to Boston, I we had a little like balcony on the outside. And I noticed my neighbor, and this is so random, okay, had like one of those ceramic owls
Hmm.
outside, like on their
Yeah.
patio, like one of the ones that the head turns like with the wind, real creepy kind of looking thing. And I'm like, oh, that's unique. Not
Well,
my
those
choice.
are to scare the pigeons away so they don't
So
poop on
yes,
the balcony.
I found that off later. I found that out later. I did not know that that was what that was for. Um, I just thought it was decoration. So I was like, okay, unique but cool. So didn't think anything of it. Then I move outside of my Boston place to a city outside of Boston in Brighton. And when I tell you, I look out the window and I see the same one on my neighbor's balcony. Okay. And I was
Like
like,
on your window?
I could see it through my window that my neighbor had the same one that my former neighbor just had
Oh
miles away.
no.
So I was like, okay, spirit, that's interesting. Like, pop off, sis. Like, I was like, I remember recording a Snapchat being like, guys, I think I'm losing it. Like, this owl's following me. Like, something's going on here. Like, I don't understand. And then I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I saw it like at my ex's house at the time or if I saw it at the place I lived after that, but there was a third one. And I just remember looking up to spirit, like me Googling like spiritual meaning of owls, like was so shook. So like and when I kind of like looked into it a little bit, it was basically along the lines of like new beginning, like support. Like I
Okay.
took it as kind of like spirits watching over me in my transitions. It was like a confirmation
Right,
that I'm
right.
going in the right direction, whether I realize it or not. And it was just like a little cute sign. But at the time, like this is before I was aware that the universe was really sending signs and like doing that stuff. Like it was early in my launch journey. I remember like looking at my ex at the time, like, am I losing it? Like that's weird, right? It was just crazy pants. So that's the weirdest sign I think I received was a
That's yeah,
ceramic
that's
owl that I later found out was meant to actually,
scare
now that you
people.
said it, yeah, it's almost like a real energy protector when you think about it. It was like keeping the bad juju away from me. Well, not all of it, but you
Right.
know.
Later
But
episode.
but later episode we'll dive into that. But that was basically spirit saying like we have your back
Right.
kind of thing. Yeah. So that's my
If I had
answer
the
for that.
nails, give me the nails. If your pet could talk, what would be the first thing they'd say?
Okay. I
Well,
actually need to think
pets.
about yeah. So party people, fans, collectives. I'm a guinea pig mother. Very
I am a mother.
unconventional. I
No
know
drama.
there's a lot of us out there, I later realized. But at the time, I couldn't have a cat or dog. And my oldest guinea pig, Glenn, is 2.5 years old. Saying Glenn's name out loud as a guinea pig name on the podcast for the world to hear is even funnier now because very, very few people know his name, which is just so funny. So, Glenn and I aligned. We'll dive into that another time. And then I recently, probably like 6 months ago, got a baby guinea named Mojo, and they're very
Mojo
different
Jojo.
personalities. Mojo Jojo. Um, I want to get monetized, so I'm not going to say what his middle name is. But maybe if we all go on Reddit or something one day, I'll tell you guys what it is. Not the most appropriate. Um, so very different personalities. Glenn curses me out every single day and Guinea anyway. He's literally running out as I say that, no joke. And Mojo doesn't really talk all that much. He just chews the cage bars. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that Glenn's words to me would be, it's about time you got up.
Right.
You know, I'm hungry, you know. Um,
Or my
it's all
cookie.
about, yeah, where's my cookie? It's all about me. I'm starving, something along those. Um, Mojo's, I think, would more be along the lines of because I usually end up going to Glenn first because like their food is like on the right side of Glenn. So I always feed Glenn first. So I think Mojo's would probably be like, what about me? Um, or, hurry up. Or I hate Glenn.
Right.
Glenn's a thief. My
Yeah.
brother gets it's like young child, like, you favor Glenn kind of thing. So that's what but Mojo like doesn't even, I don't think that if Mojo could speak to me, he wouldn't. Mojo is a death starer more than he is a speaker. Mojo would be looking at me like,
The side eye is crazy. He's like, Mom.
that's like, he's ready to fight me at any given moment. So that's
No, the
probably what,
side eye is crazy.
I
It
know that's
really
definitely more
is.
than one sentence, but it really could be any of those. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I I've met her guineas, by the way, and I 100% agree.
Yeah, we can confirm.
Yeah, I am their godmother, so
I mean, I didn't officially write like a letter to you asking that, but I can work that out. I'm just saying.
I already claimed the title. I don't care. Okay, and then question,
Victoria, do you want to be my guinea pig's godmother?
of course. I
Fabulous. That
will
means you're gonna have to take them if I ever die. You know that, right?
of course, I will feed Mojo Jojo first.
Honestly, that would be his good karma, I swear.
No,
Glenn would be
literally.
livid.
You'd be like, now what about me?
You know what? That taught me today that I should take turns. I maybe that was Mojo. Maybe this was me picking up on Mojo's energy. I didn't know he felt this deeply about it. Maybe I'll start alternating them.
Yeah, you should.
You know?
Mhm. Okay, and then question number four is going to be, if you were a tarot card, what would you be and why?
Okay. The reason for this question, by the way, people out there, I'm a tarot reader and a psychic and an oracle card reader and all the things, an energy reader and a healer. There's a lot of different words for it. Anyway, I read cards. Literally, I no joke, I have them like right next to me, like at all times. So anyone who's familiar with tarot cards out there might understand and resonate with this a little more. Um, I'm going to manipulate the question for myself and pick two or three. Um, I really resonate with the high priestess. That's like intuition, higher wisdom, higher knowing, very aware and connected to the divine realm. So that for sure. Queen of Cups is very similar to that, I would say. Um, Very intuitive, very compassionate, loving, nurturing. Not like the Empress, like mother energy, which I also feel like I resonate with, but I feel like the Queen of Cups really just wants to pour her heart into people and help people heal. And I feel like that's very much a bit of me. Um, I'm trying to think of one. What else? Nine of Pentacles is very much like an abundant, like it's not like Queen of Pentacles, like rich girl queen energy, but it's almost like I'm just being rained down upon in abundance. And I just resonate with that wholeheartedly. And probably a funnier one would be the Tower. This thing is just be crashing sometimes, you know.
Okay.
But you have to lose the foundation to build a new one sometimes. You have to know the fall apart to know the feeling of together. So those are probably the most ones that come up for me personally.
Okay.
So yeah. I want people to comment down below. If anyone's a tarot reader and I attracted fellow readers out there, or people who know tarot cards, tell me yours.
What role did meditation play in your spiritual growth?
Okay. I'm gonna try to. So you'll see. Victoria and I identify ourselves as intuitive yappers.
Right.
Um, and I can speak for myself. I have raging ADHD. So I do be getting off on tangents. I will be interrupting. I will lose track of my thoughts and forget things. So bear with us. I know I'm not alone. Um, so I'm gonna try to synopsis it. I thought that I had to follow what society told you about meditation, which is you have to do it every day. You have to do it like a guided or you quiet your thoughts or like there's just so much information about there about like how to meditate and like what
Mm-hmm.
that is and what that should look like. I've done a lot of guided meditations in my life, but I've always struggled with being consistent with them. Like I never for more than 2 days woke up and meditated for 10 minutes. Like it's something I'm still wanting to do that I have on my routine that never happens.
Right.
Um, I think that if you're someone who really struggles with their mind on a day-to-day basis, it's super important that you do your best to make it a repeat process until you don't have to anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think my journey was a little different in that I wasn't working for a good period of time. I was like on disability because I was going through my very dark night of the soul. I had a lot of anxiety and depression. So like that was my time to soul search and heal myself.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of like laying on my 6 foot bean bag, like in the middle of the day, having like 2 hour deep search meditations, which I don't think is everyone else's journey. But I think that's what ultimately got me to my level of self-awareness and like collective consciousness and like tapping into my psychic gifts. Like I think I had to have a more unconventional way that meditation influenced my spiritual growth.
Mm-hmm.
So now I realize that I don't need meditation in order to connect with my higher self and the divine. I can
Right.
pause and close my eyes and take a breath, and it will do the same thing. I can just actually catch myself when I'm not aligned with that. Meditating, yoga, group activities, reading cards, whatever your thing is that you feel helps connect you to something greater in whatever way
Mm-hmm.
that looks like to you. I feel like is really just a permission slip.
Right.
You're giving yourself the it's almost like a condition or a limit. Like only when I meditate can I feel at ease. And it's like, no, you can't do that to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I learned that I don't have to do that thing anymore and release the pressure on myself. And like when I felt called to quiet and go within, I did. Um, but I recommend everyone do pause and
Mm-hmm.
just to notice your thoughts because I feel like when you spend enough time in your inner world, you start to realize that you're not the thoughts, you're the one noticing those thoughts. And that was life changing. And I don't think that would have happened for me had I not checked out of the 3D physical world and like went to the like quiet in hermit mode. Tarot card
Right.
readers will
Right.
get that, kind of like self reflection. So I would say that's probably how that's influenced me, is just helping me get to know myself better
Mm-hmm.
on a deeper level and where I come from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
we love that. We gotta love the, because like we all struggle so much with mental chatter on a day-to-day basis. And so
Yeah,
it's so
it's
important to just like, but you have to be comfortable to be alone with yourself
yeah,
too, to
it's
do
definitely
that.
hard to quiet the mind, especially if like you are someone who's constantly like overthinking and stuff like that. But I think that you have to be like aware that you're,
Spiraling.
yeah, basically.
That you're going down the momentum
Yeah.
train in the opposite direction of what
The
you
more
want.
you think, the more you're going to literally go down the rabbit hole.
Well, yeah, it's, you can't fight your brain. It
Hmm.
doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
The more you do that, you're fighting fire with fire. It's just a bigger
Hmm.
fire. And I think as someone who did that and felt the depths of that hell,
Yeah.
once I realized that I was better off just giving it up and realizing
Hmm.
what it was doing, which usually is just my brain's trying to protect me in some way. It's my ego trying to
Yeah.
like keep me safe. So I think I was able to love and appreciate the fact that I get into those spaces to help me realize like, oh, wait a minute, I know what's happening here. And I can
Right.
say, like, thank you. We're not going to put attention on you because the more attention I feed, the more it's going to build. So
Right.
I
Right.
think shifting my focus to thoughts that felt better, activities that felt better, people that helped me to feel better,
Hmm.
you start to rewire your mind a little bit by almost debunking these limiting beliefs that you're noticing your brain is
Right.
telling you because they're conditioning. They're half of the thoughts we're thinking on a day-to-day basis probably aren't even ours.
Hmm.
Probably other people that got in our heads. So I think
Yeah.
when you can discredit it a little bit, it helps to kind of ease that pain a fair bit on a day-to-day basis for real.
Yes, ma'am. I know
Yeah.
it.
All righty, that was fun. I hope you all liked getting to know me a little bit. Now we get to dive into Victoria's questions. I thought it would be fun to ask her kind of like a different set of questions and some repeat questions. So, Victoria, to my knowing, is a big karaoke fan. So, my first question is, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Mhm. I have to
I
say,
believe I can fly.
no, actually, I've actually never done that song
I
on karaoke.
believe I can. Okay, that's our first karaoke
Um,
song together then, because I'd rip that song to shreds.
man, hold on.
Think
Love,
about it every
no,
Saturday.
it's Love by what, Keisha Cole.
All right, give me a little bit of it.
Oh,
Oh, Slay.
never knew what I was missing.
Dude, I know you up there like tipsy, just like crying
Bro,
into the mic. That's such a
me,
deep karaoke song. I
me last
know it's
night.
you. That's why I'm saying it. What do you mean? Fabulous. I want anyone else who loves that song to definitely comment and let me know their karaoke songs too. I'm not a karaoke girl. I've never been to karaoke.
It's
But
great.
I do know that my song would probably be I believe I can fly. So
No,
I think
it's
that would be mine.
karaoke is like such a beautiful way to like release just emotions.
Or like what love got to do. That's a good one. Got
Got
to
to
do
do
with
with it.
it. I'm personally very excited for this next question because I know your answer is going to be ridiculous. But what is the weirdest and funniest thing that you have Googled
Oh man.
recently?
Oh man. Okay,
But oh,
so
I just want to put a disclaimer, by the way, because I know Victoria and I. Please be 18 or older to watch our content. Thanks so
so
much.
yeah, disclaimer, whatever. Um,
I will accept 17 because I think that it's okay. But like anything less than that, get away
no
from here.
ma'am, 18 and
Don't be
up.
listening.
But anyway, so I Googled the other day, but it was because so we were talking, me and my friends were talking about like Bad Bunny and stuff, and then he did like a thing with Vogue where it was like what's in my bag or whatever. And
I thought it was
apparently,
gonna be like, what's the best toilet paper or something very
no,
normal,
no,
but
ma'am.
like still weird. You said this girl said,
Well, so that's the thing, like
I mean, power to you, no hate, no shame, no tea,
right.
no shade.
But yeah, so he did like a what's in my bag, like my bag for like Vogue or whatever, and like on TikTok,
Iconic.
everybody was saying that like the like nectar
They
of
saw the
love that he
bottle.
had. Yeah, they were saying that it was, and so I had this like back and forth debacle with my friend. To my knowledge, I didn't know they made it, guys. Point is, I searched that up. That was the craziest thing, probably, and it was literally like she caught me at the right time because it was literally last week that I did this, but
That's so funny.
it'd be
And
like
I feel
that.
like it's definitely relatable. I don't think you're the only one who's ever Google searched that
I mean, I
before.
feel like people have like crazier Google searches, but I'm I don't know, I might have had like a crazier Google search at one point, but that's like the most recent one that I can think of that was like,
Mine is like,
okay,
how do you spell restaurant? Like, that's probably the that
Chloe,
one's always hard for me.
Google like what? Correct.
I've never had autocorrect on because it'd be correcting things that don't need to be corrected. So I've never had autocorrect on. You
That
will not catch me
explains
with
that
autocorrect.
explains so much.
What do you mean? I have great spelling. I speak very normally in my text messages. You're just saying because of me that I
I
wouldn't
guess
want that?
I guess that no, I guess that I've never had you say the word restaurant on text. So,
Yeah, there's a good reason for that. Where are we going for dinner? When do you want me to get there? I can avoid the word. Anyway, if you asked me to spell it right now off the top of my head, I'd struggle, but I could probably do it, but I'm not going to do it because of my pride. Thank you so much.
R-E-S-T.
And me singing R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Go ahead, finish it.
A-U-R-A-N-T.
I wish I could say whether you were right.
Then the comments are
Guys,
gonna be like,
comment
actually,
restaurant. Yeah,
actually,
please.
it's not like that.
I know I'm not alone in not knowing how to spell that word sometimes, right? Um, I'm gonna ask you the same question you asked me, which is that if your pet could talk to you, what would he say? Um, I also know Victoria's pet doggy Luke.
So
So what's the
he
T on
okay,
Luke?
so he's a French bulldog. If you guys know anything about French bulldogs, they're very much needy. And so
Traumatic.
this man, because that's all I can describe him as, he's just a man until he wants to be a little boy's. It's like I don't get it, but he'll sit there and just cry for no reason. Like he'll be walked, he'll be
Naturally.
fed, he'll be cuddled, he'll be warm,
Of
like he's
course.
good, and he just sits there staring at his reflection, crying. Because he cries while he's
Understandable.
well, he literally like
There's
you know
might
the
be no
song,
reason, but that's just how he
well,
feels.
you know like Mulan, like the song Reflection, like when will my reflection
Who
show
is
who I am
that
inside? Right.
girl?
That is literally my dog. Like
Oh my
he's
God, you need to make that a meme immediately if that song playing in the background while he's doing that. I'm so for real. It'll go viral instantly, I
no,
swear.
please. But yeah, so he just frustrates me. But my point to this is that I will kind of yell at him a few times. And I think that what he would say to me if he could talk is like,
Mind
bitch,
your
like
business.
leave me alone. Like, why are
Let me
you
live.
like I'm just chilling here. Meanwhile, he's bothering me, but whatever. Like I don't bother him all day, but
He's probably thinking to himself and would probably say to you, do I criticize you when you cry?
right.
No.
No, he
Maybe
bites me when I cry. But yeah. Yeah,
I need to have
he's not the most compassionate dude
I
ever.
need to have a conversation with Luke because
Yeah.
but honestly, I can relate to that because my emotional support animals are not very emotionally supportive. This is a good one. What is something that you recently learned or heard or just happened upon, I guess, that you noticed changed the way you thought about things or you think on a day-to-day basis?
Um, it's not really anything that I've heard. It's more of like that I've experienced.
Yeah, you can still,
Definitely,
yeah. Well, learn doesn't have to be a someone told you outside thing. Learn could be like
right.
something that just
I would
came into
definitely
your
have to
experience.
say it's like the most cliche probably thought that like everybody has, but like life is too short.
Yeah.
Life is too short. Enjoy the little moments, appreciate the little moments, appreciate the people around you, because you never know when they will, not be in this physical plane to have those
The hugs,
conversations.
yeah,
And yeah, so definitely just take time every day to appreciate the people that you have around you.
period.
So, yeah.
And just to touch on that for my people out there, I can relate a lot to that being something that exists in my head because I worked at a cemetery for a little
Right.
bit of
Yeah, that
time.
was crazy.
So, I really learned, and I was already kind of a psychic at that point. Like I was very tapped into the medium life, being,
Hmm.
hearing and smelling and tasting and touching and, picking up on energies, whether they were physically here, like you and
Hmm.
I are, or non-physically kind of focused in, the afterlife, so to speak, the
Right.
5D, if you will, where like all simultaneously exist at one time, which is why I'm
Hmm.
able to tap in. But I realize that death respects no age in this physical world.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
100%.
I've seen people be buried of all kinds,
Yeah.
physically wise, age wise, personality wise.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter how good of a person you are, how bad of a person you are, what the skin color you have is. It doesn't matter what your job was. It doesn't matter who was around you. Like,
How much money you had.
yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't. When you realize it's kind of like so dark, but so light at the same time, when you
Hmm.
realize that life is meaningless.
Yeah, I mean, not meaningless. I wouldn't say
No, well, yeah,
meaningless, but like the
in this,
materialistic things.
yes, well, in the
Yeah.
sense of it kind of allows this detachment to exist where you realize that
Hmm.
you decide what holds meaning to you in
Hmm.
this life. And so when you can realize that, like, the things that are most important to you are usually things that you can't take with you when you go, but like the love that you share with people will be forever. Like it kind of puts things
And
into
those
perspective.
moments and those memories will be there forever, but like I promise you that like dollar bill that you got is not. Or
Yeah.
like I don't know, like articles of clothing, yeah, I mean they can be passed down, stuff like that, like little memorabilia. But at the end of the day, you're not going to take that to the grave when it's your time to go either. So,
I mean, you might slay in an outfit and have your jewelry on, but
right, but but that,
you
but
think
you're
that,
still not taking it to like the spiritual
well,
plane.
it's that, like, and life and death is something we'll probably talk about in deeper detail at
Right. That's
another
like a whole
time.
episode within itself. Yeah.
But no, I definitely agree that being aware of what your priorities are,
Hmm.
because life can be short, is a great way to think, not in the like, know, gloom and doom sense, but in a I'm grateful to be here and be
Right,
alive,
right, right, right.
and to participate in this world for
Hmm.
however long that is,
Yeah, of
kind of
course.
thing, is a good way to think.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads into like a similar question, which is like, what would spirituality mean? Like, what does spirituality mean to you? And like, how has that understanding evolved over time for you?
Um, I think I think I don't have like a full definition, like a definitive,
Definition?
no, like
Oh, okay.
definitive like
Definitive
answer.
explanation. Yeah.
Yeah, to that. Um, I feel like spirituality can mean
But what is
a
it to
lot of things.
you?
A lot of things to me, I mean, it's like my sense of purpose in a way.
Okay.
Like I feel like it gets me going every day knowing that I have like that higher power that is like, with me at all
Mm-hmm.
times and stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um,
So is it like like a foundational thing? Like
yeah,
it's a core, it's like a
yeah.
value. It's like staying connected to that
Hmm.
part of you that is a spiritual
And
being
it
in
feels
nature.
if it feels when I am fully like not paying attention to like the outside and whatnot, like what's going on in
Yeah.
this physical plane and whatnot. Um, to me, it kind of just like it's like a safety blanket. It's like
I
a
was gonna say like
hug.
comfort, or like feels
Yeah,
like
it's like a
home.
hug.
It's safety, it's
Yeah.
security. That's a fabulous way of putting it. I agree with that. It's warm.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
love,
Brings joy.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like at some point you didn't have that connection and like it evolved into that knowing, or like what did that look like for you?
No, I honestly truly feel like I've always had that connection or feeling towards spirituality just because I mean, I grew up like my parents were like, Catholic, whatever, like but we would just go to like church on Sundays and like the
So it was a
whatever.
faith, but it looked
Yeah.
different from what, okay.
But for me, like I understood it and viewed it differently than my parents did. So
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I needed to go to Sunday school to
Relatable.
be in tune with my spirituality the way that they wanted me to be in tune. To me, I honestly genuinely felt like I was more connected in my spirituality than they were
Too.
because I didn't have to go to a physical place to get that connection. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like I
It's
can do that at
here.
home. Yeah, like I can do that
Yes.
like God is within me,
Well, that's a
you
perfect
know?
example of like what I was talking about earlier, where like that's a permission slip.
Yeah. Like, oh, I didn't go to
I
church on
have to,
Sunday. Or like
That's very
I'm
nuts.
not praying today, whatever. I'm
Y-
not thanking God because I'm gonna do it on Sunday.
Yeah, no.
You do it every day. Do it every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, it looks different to everyone, and that's
Of
like no
course, yeah.
judgment. But I think for me, was raised Jewish, but we
Hmm.
were more of the like traditional aspect of Judaism. Like I had a bat mitzvah, I got confirmed, I did the whole shebang. Um, but it was like tradition and holidays kind of thing. I still went to temple, but it's in Hebrew. So like I don't know what's happening at that
Right.
age. But I found that what was missing for me was this sense of faith and spirituality. Like I
Hmm.
knew a good amount about it. And I think that Judaism is cool in the sense that like they very much want you to question these things. Like it's
Hmm.
not a good, bad, right, wrong, judgmental thing
Right.
to my experience at least. So I feel like I didn't feel bad when I got older, and I wanted to dive into a spirituality that's more in the divinity aspect
Hmm.
of like, and I think that's where tarot cards kind of entered my life, and it helped me explore the deeper connection with me and my higher power in a way that Judaism wasn't doing for me,
Right, right,
like
right.
growing up. So I can
Right.
understand that a lot.
I mean, I will have to
Sure.
say, like, I still follow like a religion, but I don't feel the need to have to go to like,
You don't have to limit yourself to
yeah, yeah,
how it's
yeah, yeah.
expressed.
Exactly.
Yeah, super good. Very relatable. I think a lot of people can connect with how they veered off of their religious upbringing to some
Oh, and
degree.
yeah, and it's like 100% okay to question your spirituality or have questions about it
We're meant to
or
explore.
doubts. I mean, like
Yeah.
faith is really it's hard. I would have to say like it is hard to have faith um in the divine and God and all that, whatever you want like it is to you. But it is hard, but that's the beauty of it.
Well, yeah, it's such an individual journey. And I don't
Hmm.
think it has to be hard. I think that when you resist your connection
Well,
to
yeah,
it,
but you also
it's hard.
you have to take into consideration like your conditioning as well. Like how did you grow up and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. And
So,
what you're dealing with on the
hmm,
outside. Very
yeah.
much true. Next off, because I think that you and I both had questions that we both wanted to answer for our people. So do you want to introduce the first question for us?
Yeah, so the first question is going to be how do you hope the cosmic call out will impact our listeners?
Okay. I strongly believe that you and I creating this is divinely guided
Hmm.
inherently. I don't think that you and I would be here having these very real discussions, having reconnected in life. Because, a little backstory, Victoria and I met when we were in high school in
Hmm.
Parkland, Florida. I had literally moved down there only for my junior and senior year of high school, and we met in theater class. And, we kikied, we got on, we did some fun like class stuff. We hung out outside
Hmm.
of school a handful of times. And I went to college in Ohio. She was a year younger than me, so she went on her own journey. I went on mine. We lost touch a little bit during that period of time. And then in like May of last year, I ended up moving down to Savannah, Georgia. She was on her journey, like in Hawaii, and she had just moved to Georgia legit on the same day
Same exact
th-
day.
that I moved to Georgia. And like
Hmm.
me moving to Georgia was very random. We'll go into that another time.
Yeah.
But like I just and so to get a random DM from you was just the most relieving. Like it was so God sent because like I just knew that I was there by myself, and God knew that I needed someone to be with me and to grow with me at this time in my
Hmm.
life. And I'm just thankful that it was you, because like you and I have always reconnected in a way where like it never felt like we didn't talk, no matter how long it had gone.
Right.
So, when we started kind of talking about our spiritual journeys, because like, I became a tarot reader in a time that you and I did not speak. So I really
Hmm.
almost was an entirely different person when we started talking
I mean,
again. But
you
it
were
was,
different but the same.
well, yeah, I mean, I think that my like outgoing, goofy, kind of like, what's the word? Out there personality,
Right,
maybe,
right.
like
I
is
mean,
still very much the
The
same.
Chloe I know and love is still there. So,
Yeah, I mean, listen, 17-year-old me, all the age me is like still exist in me, right? I think the only difference
hmm,
is now that I'm more assured and comfortable and confident and my knowing of who I am at a core. Like
Yeah.
I've evolved and grown in different ways that, I just wasn't back then,
Yeah, of course.
just from life experience. So to me, like when we started kind of talking about what we had missed with each other
Hmm.
and realized that, we were both very interested in this conscious awareness that you and I were growing within ourselves and we could relate to each other on that level. And this idea of a podcast was born. Like I have such a weird memory. Like I don't even remember how we got on this idea. I feel like everyone jokes with their friends and we're like, yeah, like we should make a podcast. But I think one day it was just like, no, like we really need to. Like I'm so
Yeah.
serious about it. Like I'm not playing. Like this needs to
And
be a
then I
thing.
was like, all right, let's do it. And then I made a whole
Yeah, and like
slideshow.
yeah, and
I
like
made a
we
whole slideshow.
neither of us could shake it. And it was
Yeah.
one of those things where like if it's meant to happen, it will, and it's meant to be fun.
Hmm.
And so I feel like what we're talking about here has the potential to change lives for the better. Like I wanted to have like real life talks and like have people
Yeah,
chime
I
in
think,
and like build community. And I
right.
feel like this gets us to do that. And that's pretty awesome.
I think that like, people hearing our experiences and stuff will be kind of like you're not alone. Like we've
Yeah.
experienced some crazy things in our lives, like, and I'm sure there's crazier things that have been experienced out there and whatnot. But
Yeah.
like this is like a space for not only us to share our own experiences, but hopefully eventually in the future we can have others share their own experiences and we can kind of, I don't know, like have more like unison in the world because we we have a lot of division right now, and just to show everyone that like I said, you're not alone.
I don't, yeah. And on a
Yeah.
very foundational level, we're all the same.
Right, exactly.
It's learning to look past the
Hmm.
differences and not judge one another for our differences. It's
Exactly.
understanding that we're all here just doing the best we can. We
Hmm.
just want to be loved. We want to be appreciated. We want to feel good. We want to be liked by other people. We want to grow. We want to succeed. We want to
Hmm.
heal. So it's like when you can look at people for who they truly are, which is just a human being,
Yeah.
no different than you or I.
At the end
It's
of the day, I just work here, but
Yeah, literally, like spirit's just like, okay, literally, spirit's
like
telling me I just work here.
I'm
But
just
it's
happy to be alive. Like it's okay.
yeah, like recognizing that all is well and everything is
Hmm.
working out, whether we
Yeah.
realize it or not. And so I think that I could probably speak for both of us for this question when I say that like our hope for our listeners
Hmm.
is not only to feel less alone, but to accept this greater spiritual truth
Right.
that we are just the universe experiencing and contributing to this global consciousness through our own personal
Hmm.
lens. Like it's not that deep,
Yeah.
essentially.
No,
It's
literally.
supposed to be fun. We're supposed to feel good. We're supposed
Yeah.
to enjoy this life
You're supposed to
and
live.
you
Live,
know, let go,
not be
let
on
God,
autopilot. Yeah.
be free. And like one of the topics I even put for one of our future things is like human being versus human doing. And like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
And how people get caught up in that. So it's like, I think that I just, to give and receive love really is all I would hope for
Hmm.
this. And I know that that's already here and now because
Right.
that's the intention that went into this creation. So that's what it's going to live as. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think with that, we can maybe wrap up the podcast for today.
Yeah, I
Is
hope
that
everyone enjoyed our interview style, get to know us. Hopefully, this gives you a really good sense of our
mm-hmm.
vibes. Um, Stay tuned for future episodes. Victoria
Yes,
and I are going to link
definitely. Yes.
everything down
We'll
below.
have all of our socials down below so you guys can be
I
updated.
and I do want to just show the people just so they have a sense of like what's in store. Um, roughly at the beginning of this, I told you overall themes, but when I tell you we have a spin wheel of all the different topics, your girl has a lot to say, as you guys have probably picked up on. So
Yes.
I think it'll be really fun to kind of see what the universe wants us to talk about, get everyone
Mm-hmm.
involved. Um, I want to specifically, of course, I hope you guys follow and like and share and do all that, fun, good stuff. No pressure, of course. But what I'm most interested in is I created a Reddit for us, and that is our way to directly like respond and talk to you guys on a
Yes.
deeper level. So I think that that forum is going to be really cool because I don't want this to necessarily just be Vic and I talking, you guys listening. That's
Mm-hmm.
great, but we want to hear you too.
Yeah.
So I think that it will be fun to invite the love in life and connect on a more personal way. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing I just wanted to know. But this was so fun.
Yes, it
And I'm so
was.
excited to launch this out into the world and have our soul family come writing in and relate to us and Kiki and just have a good, fun, love and light, deep soul surge, funny, hysterical, divine time.
That's when the nail clocking comes in.
Period. Everyone's invited. Join the chaotic cosmic call out podcast that's just full of shade and tea, but like from the divine. So it's really love and light, but it's like a little bit of tea and shade.
It's just a little
It's
shady.
it's
It's just
like
a
let's
little
call
palm
you
tree.
out with love and light. It's like let's
Yeah,
just expose our own BS so other people can get in touch with their BS and we all can get better. You know what
I
I
need to
mean,
get
Jelly Bean?
nails.
It's all right. I
Yes.
got I got two hands for the
Right, there
both
you
of
go.
us. Period. But yes,
But
thank you all.
bye. See you next
Yeah,
time.
that's it for us today.